Never fear, Cinders is here. Today we have our episode discussion video for Doctor Who Series 9, Episode 4. This may not go very long. I've got just two brief scenes I want to go over fairly quickly and talk about them just a little bit. I guess there's three, but I think I'm going to save the one for next week, and that has to do with this hybrid issue with him possibly having created the hybrid that Davros mentioned. I'll save that for next week when we get the second half of this, not two-part, but two-part episode. But I want to look at first something the Doctor says about his getting in the TARDIS and running away.
One day, remember, that will hurt so much that I won't be able to breathe, and I'll do what I always do. I'll get in my box and I'll run, in case all the pain ever catches up. In every place I go, it will be there.
And so here we get possibly a reason why the Doctor runs a lot. Why he's ran from Gallifrey, maybe even. There was something he lost. A person who was important to him, he lost. And maybe that is why he left Gallifrey. Just something short to think about there. I mean, obviously we've seen that every time one of the Doctor's companions passes away, or something along the, or he loses a companion in some way or fashion or form, he decides for at least a little while to try and do it alone. And then he has to be convinced that's not the right idea for him. The reason is because, as he says here, the loss is so great that he kind of feels he needs to run away from it. But he can never really run away from it. It always seems to catch up to him. And every time he finds a new person like Clara, he attaches himself to, and they become important to him. He hates the idea of knowing he's going to lose them as well. You know, there's another scene in here where he talks about the idea of immortality. It's going to follow this shortly, which we're not going to look at, but he makes the claim that immortality is not about living forever. It's about watching everyone else die around you. And, you know, that's kind of the curse of the Time Lords. And as the last of the Time Lords, that's been his curse. In fact, he watched all the Time Lords die, with the possible exception of the Master, Missy, which we know she's still supposed to come back, even though she may have been killed by the Daleks and whatever. And he's watched the Master die before too, of course knowing he'd regenerate, or at least left the Master in peril of death, which is probably more often the case, as he's left the Master in peril of dying, even though he hasn't yet. Then there is the second aspect I want to talk about, and that is the Doctor's face. We've known he's going to get the revelation of why he has this face, and I still don't think he makes it completely clear, but he finally recalls where the face comes from, and he thinks maybe he understands why he gave himself that face. Although I'm not really sure he fully got the right answer, especially when he starts questioning what he does for the girl and the effects that are going to come from it, because he was angry and acting irrational out of emotion, and he did something he probably shouldn't have, and putting that healing chip inside of her to cause her to possibly be immortal and possibly be that hybrid.
Confront me this face. Why this one? Why that yours?
he thinks he knows why he chose it. And he's recalling, or we see him flashing back to his first episode as the Doctor, when he starts questioning, because he knows somewhere he's seen that face before, but he can't pinpoint it. Just like he couldn't pinpoint the clockwork robots. He couldn't pinpoint his own face. He's finally here about to recognize his own face and remember where he's seen it. At least partially, anyways. Because we still don't see a flashback to the Torchwood episode with him in it. We just see the episode with David Tennant and Catherine Tate as Donna Noble and the 10th Doctor in The Fires of Pompeii, when the 10th Doctor rescues the man who has that face, and he remembers that, and so he's gonna kind of take a 10th Doctor thing and go too far because he can, because he's the Doctor. And he doesn't go so far as saying anything stupid like, I am the Time Lord Victorious, but he is the Doctor, and he is there to help people, to save people, and so that's what he's about to do. And so after this, we get him flashing back even further to the Fires of Pompeii very briefly, where Donna's begging him to save somebody, and the father of the family he saves has that face. Like I said, I'm still not sure that's exactly why he has this face, but it's definitely a starting to unraveling that mystery. I do hope we actually get more about this idea. And that this isn't the final piece of it, because if this is all there is to his receiving this face, it's a little bit underwhelming as a reason and as an application to him having that face. I still think there's something bigger to be grasped and learned from the Doctor about why he has this face. And of course, I think part of that is going to have to go back to the Torchwood stuff with Frobisher, the other guy who has this face. Well, let me know what you think. Please comment. If you enjoyed my thoughts, enjoyed this video, I hope you'll like the video. And if you have not done so, you'll subscribe to my channel. And I will be back next week sometime to bring up the next episode. And thank you for watching.